Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Nimisha Jadon from School of Studies Environmental Chemistry, Jivaji University, Gwalior. Today we are going to discuss about a module Physical, Chemical and Biological Treatment under the paper of Environmental Biotechnology. The learning objective of this module included the basic idea about the physical, chemical and biological treatment processes of wastewater, then the treatment technology which are applied in different industries for the treatment of wastewater generated. The ultimate disposal of wastewater can only be onto the land or into the water body. But whenever the water cores are used for the ultimate disposal, the wastewater is given a treatment to prevent injury to aquatic life in river water. Normally, the treatment consists of the removal of suspended solids and the dissolved solids, though a different units of the treatment plants are used for the removal of these solids. Engineers can design a treatment plant to accomplish any degree of treatment, but a complete treatment or the 100% removal of the pollution load is uneconomical and never aimed at in any waste treatment plant. The water course can assimilate certain portion of the pollution load without affecting seriously the water quality as well as and the environment.
The treatment plant accomplishes a major part of the cleaning work, and then the nature, after the disposal of the effluent into the water courses, completes the work and thus rid the water from the pollution. Treatment plant itself essential to determine the number one, the characteristics of the raw wastewater. Then the second one is the required characteristics of the treatment plant effluent, which will not pollute the receiving water course beyond the certain acceptable limits, and in most of the cases, however, effluent are established by the law of the local authority instead of that by vigorous engineering analysis. The characteristics of the municipal wastewater vary from place to place and depends on various factors like economic status, food habits of the community, water supply position and weather condition of the locality. In domestic wastewaters, as the pollution load varies according to the dilution offered by the water used, it is a convenient and common practice to express the suspended solid and the BODs in terms of per capita contribution. However, with a greater amount of water use, more amount of solids per capita are expected to join the wastewater flow. Other parameters of pollution included pH, suspended solids, toxic substances, BOD and the DO. Sometimes demands the removal of inorganic nutrients in addition to the organic materials. As such, the nitrogenous nutrients may also be considered as the parameter of pollution.
Now we discuss about the dissolved oxygen. Organic waste normally undergoes aerobic decomposition in the stream. Only when the rate of supply of oxygen, mainly from the atmosphere, cannot keep pace with the rate of oxygen demand, the condition within the stream becomes anaerobic. The anaerobic condition is, however, not desirable, as while the aerobic receiving water look reasonably clean and are free from odor, the anaerobic conditions makes it black, unsightly and malodorous. The biochemical reactions within the stream exert BOD, resulting in the deoxygenation of the stream. Apart from the above, a certain portion of the biodegradable organics get deposited at the bed of the stream. They undergoes anaerobic and the benthic decomposition.
The products of such decomposition are organic acids and reduced gases. These are further stabilized by aerobic microorganisms in the upper layer, thereby increasing the BOD of the stream. A small amount of oxygen is also utilized by the higher animals for their respiration, but as stated earlier, the simultaneous replenishment of oxygen in the stream occurs due to the absorption of oxygen from the atmosphere and also due to the release of oxygen by the green plant during photosynthesis. This is known as re-aeration or re-oxygenation of the stream. The interplay between the deoxygenation and re-aeration produces a well-defined profile of the dissolved oxygen in the stream.
Now we discuss about the parameters of pollution and self-purification. The extent or the degree of pollution and that of self-purification can be measured in various ways. The method of measurement depends on the nature of the pollution and the subsequent uses of the receiving water. When the nuisance potential of the discharge effluent is of great concern, the BOD and DO of the receiving water taken together are measured to trace the profile of pollution and self-purification in the stream. The BOD represents the intensity of biodegradable matter remaining in the stream at any time, and the DO shows the ability of the stream to purify itself.
The next is the pH values of the waste and receiving water. In domestic wastewater, the pH values normally vary from 7 to 8.5 and therefore do not affect the receiving water. So, in determining the degree of treatment of a domestic waste, the pH of the waste and that of the receiving water need not to be considered. Most of the industrial waste are characteristically either acidic or alkaline. Acidic waste are corrosive to both metallic and the concrete structures in the water courses and are also toxic to the aquatic life. Moreover, when free acid react with the natural alkalinity of the water, it produces carbonate hardness, thus rendering it unfit for future laundry uses or as a boiler feed water. Toxic substances. The toxic substances present in the industrial waste not only disturb the ecological balance in the receiving water but also may endanger the health of the animals and human beings who may have to use the polluted water for drinking purposes. The tolerance limits of the different toxic elements in the receiving water have been prescribed by different authorities. The permissible concentration of the toxic elements in the waste effluent may then be computed. In order to limit the concentration of toxic elements in the stream of the permissible value at any point in between the point of outfall and the point of complete mixing, the mixing coefficient should be taken into considerations. A complete treatment of wastewater involves many units of operation and processes steps are discussed here. The number one is the physical treatment process. It includes the bar screens. The first step in the treatment of wastewater is the removal of larger particles of floating and suspended matter by coarse screening. In most of the plants, this is accomplished by a set of inclined parallel bars fixed at certain distance apart in a channel. These could have been properly called as racks. Instead, these are referred to as bar screens in large plants.
The next step is the chemical treatment process. These treatment process included the removal of suspended solid. Several methods proposed. The two methods are most commonly utilized in this application are microstaining and the chemical coagulation, followed by settling and the mixed media filtration. The coagulation is the method in which the certain chemicals are rapidly dispersed in the wastewater to change the characteristics of the suspended particles so that they coalesce and form a flock which sink rapidly, and coagulation is employed to improve or make possible the removal of negatively charged colloidal suspensions which do not normally settle out and cannot be removed by conventional physical treatment process. The removal of dissolved solids is the another part of the chemical treatment process. In this part, a number of methods have been investigated for the removal of inorganic constituents from the wastewater. Three methods which are finding wide application in the advanced water treatment are the ion exchange, electrodialysis and the reverse osmosis.
The biologically degradable organics may exist in wastewater in soluble, colloidal or suspended form. Biological removal of degradable organics involves a sequence of steps including mass transfer, absorption and biochemical enzymatic reactions. An understanding of the microbiological metabolism and growth kinetics is therefore necessary for a rational design of the biological treatment processes. Microbiological metabolism of organic waste. The respiration is a microbiological process in which a portion of available organic or the inorganic substrate is oxidized by the bioreactions, being catalyzed by large protein molecules as enzymes produced by the microorganisms to liberate gases, and the oxidation or dehydrogenation can take place both in aerobic and anaerobic condition. Under aerobic condition, the oxygen acts as a final hydrogen acceptor for the oxidation. On the other hand, sulfates, nitrites, nitrate, carbon dioxide, even compounds act as hydrogen acceptor in the anaerobic system. This figure shows the metabolism of organic substances. When the organics decomposes by the microorganism in the presence of oxygen or in the aerobic condition, they are synthesizing their new cells and releases the energy and the end products in the form of carbon dioxide, ammonia and water. Then again the organics degraded by the microorganism and releases the new cell as a end product organic acids and alcohol, and these organic acids and alcohol again degraded and releases the end product of ammonia, methane, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, water etc. and synthesizes the new cell. The next is the principle of the biological waste treatment. The natural processes of microbiological metabolism in aquatic environment is capitalized in a biological treatment of wastewater under proper environmental conditions. The soluble organic substances of the waste are completely destroyed by biological oxidation, and the part of it is oxidized while rest are converted into biological mass in the biological reactors. The end products of the metabolism are either gas or liquid. On the other hand, the synthesized biological mass can flocculate easily, particularly with increasing mean age of the cells, and are separated out in a clarifier. Therefore, the biological treatment system usually consists of a biological reactor and a settling tank to remove the produced biomass or sludge. The method of biological treatment is known as the activated sludge process. The wastewater is stabilized in this process biologically in the aeration tank under the aerobic condition. The aerobic conditions are achieved by the use of diffused or mechanical aeration. The contents of the tank are referred to as mixed liquor. The biological mass which is produced in this tank is settled in the secondary settling tank. A portion of the settled biological mass containing active microorganism is recycled and the rest is wasted. The wasting of the sludge control the mean cell residence time, and a better control on the mean cell residence time can be achieved if wasting is done directly from the aeration tank. The contact stabilization, a modification of the activated sludge process, provides an economic method of waste treatment when a high percentage of BOD can be removed by biosorption within a short time. In this process, the first two phases in the biological treatment phase, the biosorption and the stabilization, are separated and made to occur in two separate tanks. In the first tank, the waste is aerated with stabilized return sludge for a short contact period of 30 to 60 minutes. During this period, the waste organic absorbs on the microbiological mass and the mixed liquor is then thickened in a secondary settling tank. The settled sludge is then transported to a sludge stabilizer where the same is aerated for a longer time, usually 3 to 6 hours. The required stabilization period depends on the initial BOD removal and on the retention period of the contact tank.
The next is the sludge treatment processes. The sludge treatment may include all or a combination of the following unit operations and the processes, including thickening, digestion, conditioning, dewatering, and finally incineration. Thickening is meant for the reduction of moisture content of the sludge. Both gravity thickeners and the flotation thickeners are employed for this purpose. Digestion is a biological method of treatment and is meant for the reduction of organic content of the sludge. The digestion may be accomplished under either anaerobic or the aerobic conditions. The conditioning improves the drainability of the digested sludge and may be accomplished by any of the following processes like elutriation, chemical conditioning, heat treatment, freezing, etc. The chemical conditioning consists of addition of some coagulants. The ultimate disposal of dewatered sludge or the ash after the treatment may be onto the land or into the sea. The digestion and the auxiliary processes, incineration, constitutes the treatment part of the sludge, while the remaining processes are meant for of its moisture only prior to either digestion or final disposal. The gravity thickeners are deep circular tanks provided with a moving deep truss or deep arm equipped with vertical or picklets. The sludge is continuously stirred by and is concentrated and compressed at the bottom, and the water overflow and is sent back to the primary inlet. The separate sludge thickeners are not frequently used in the sewage treatment plants, but it can be shown that certain can be used by the plants. Realized from it, the use particularly when handling ant sludge. Primary sludge usually contain about 4 to 6% of the solid. On the other hand, the activated sludge contain about a 0.5% suspended solid, which after settling increases to about 2%.
It is apparent that any increase in the solid concentration by thickening would result in the reduction of the volume of the sludge. This in turn would allow a decrease in the size of digester, pumps and other equipments handling the sludge. The conventional clarifier are designed to achieve the maximum removal of solids. The underflow concentration there usually never exceed by 2%. On the other hand, the thickeners are designed to get a thick sludge as much as possible. Any attempt to achieve both the objective in one unit would require longer detention time and hence a larger size of the settling tank. Therefore, it is always desirable to have separate clarifier and thickener unit so that each can be designed and operated under the optimum conditions. In the sewage treatment plants employing activated sludge process, the thickeners could be used with another advantage. Wasting of sludge directly from the aeration tank followed by the thickening instead of the wasting from the recycle line offers better control over the mean cell residence time and hence on the performance of the process. The gravity thickeners are to be designed for the desired underflow concentration on the performance of process. The conventional biological treatment methods employing trickling filters or the activated sludge process are very expensive to install as well as to run. The past experience with such treatment plants shows that many of them are either performing poorly due to the lack of skilled operational supervision or becoming idle because of mechanical breakdown and lack of maintenance. A few of them again were not designed properly. On the other hand, the so-called low-cost treatment system, which include aerated lagoon, stabilization basin, oxidation ditch and anaerobic lagoon etc. are simple to construct, have the least amount of mechanization and require little or no skilled supervision for operation. The design criteria for such low cost treatment systems are adopted, which include aerated lagoons. The next is the aerated lagoons. For the communities producing a total waste flow of less than 4.5 mld, the aerated lagoons may be recommended for the complete aerobic biological treatment of raw wastewater. Aerated lagoons are simple holding basins usually 2 to 4 meter deep with a continuous supply of oxygen and are seeded.
Now we discuss here about the treatment of industrial waste. The treatment of industrial wastewater may be accomplished in or as a whole either by the biological process as done in the case of sanitary sewage or by processes very special for the industrial wastewater only. The important factor which affect the planning of our industrial wastewater treatment plants are the continuous and sometimes seasonally discharged waste, then the light concentration of the waste, and finally the known degradability and toxicity of some waste. Depending upon the mode of discharge of waste and the nature of the constituents present in it, the treatment may consist of any one or more of the following processes, that includes equalization, neutralization, physical treatment, chemical treatment and biological treatment. The above processes may be carried out partially or entirely in the municipal sewage treatment plant along with the domestic sewage in a separate treatment plant. When the characteristic of the waste vary in a day and also discharge rate is not uniform or the continuous, the waste may be required equalization before it is subjected to the treatment. The equalization consists of holding the waste for some predetermined mentioned time and continuously mixed basin, which produces an effluent of fairly uniform characteristics.
Some of the industrial waste amenable to biological treatment may require prior chemical treatment. Some require only chemical treatment without any biological treatment, and some of the chemical and physicochemical process employed in the industrial waste treatment for the removal of dissolved inorganic materials are reverse osmosis, also known as hyperfiltration, electrodialysis, chemical oxidation, chemical precipitation, adsorption, ion exchange, thermal reduction, air stripping. Now we discuss about some specific industrial wastewater treatment process. The number one is the paper and pulp industry. The paper and pulp industry and the fertilizer industry, tannery industry, sugar mill, textile industries are the largest industry, but there has been a tremendous expansion in these industries during the last 25 years, and the varieties of products are now manufactured in different mills throughout the country. The paper industry as it stands now is one of the largest industry in our country, and also this is one of the major industries which contributes in generation of wastewater. The paper mills use the pulp as the raw material, which is again produced utilizing different cellulosic material like wood, bamboo, etc. in the pulp mills. The pulp and paper mills waste characteristically contain very high COD and the color. Similarly, all these industries generate high amount of wastewater which need a proper treatment before discharges. Different treatment technology used in different industry were discussed in the next slide. Here in this slide we have seen that the blank liquor and contain a BOD of 80% and flow is the 4%. Transferred to the lime treatment process, and after the lime treatment it is again transferred to the clarifier where the sludge is settled down at the bottom of the tank and the clear supernatant effluent is transferred to the cooling tower, and when we added the nutrient and transferred it to the anaerobic lagoons where the BOD reduction takes place up to 92% and the retention time is 25 days. Then the water is transferred to the aerated lagoons, and here the BOD reduces up to 87% and the retention time is 15 days. And after the aerated lagoon, if required, again the effluent is transferred to the next aerated lagoons, and then the effluent is discharged into any nearby water body, and the remaining sludge is transferred to the stabilization tank where it is reduced for the BOD and color reduction, and finally transferred to the clarifier, and grit chambers are used to remove the other heavy particles from the water and then transferred to the aerated lagoons, and then water is discharged into water body. The next is the flow diagram of the treatment of textile mill waste. Again the wastewater transfer from the grit chamber from where the removal of large particles has been carried out, and then grease chamber used to remove the grease and oil from the water and the all other waste and transferred to the equalization. Then they are added some chemicals like coagulants which removes the suspended and dissolved solids from the wastewater, and finally they are transferred into the primary settling tank from where the sludge is removed from the water and then transferred to the digester for the dryness, and the water is transferred again to the secondary settling tank, and then it is discharged into the water body. The treatment method followed for the textile effluent including number one physical method that include Brauer screening and equalization. Chemical methods included neutralization and coagulation, and biological methods includes activated sludge process, trickling filter, and the BOD reduction takes place up to an 80 to 90% by this method, and the advanced treatment process included activated carbon adsorption to remove color and turbidity, then ion exchange to remove ions and toxic substances, and reverse osmosis for the color removal. Here is the flow chart of the complete treatment of some sugarcane effluent wastewater. When the wastewater released from the sugarcane industries, it is transferred from the after the bar screening, then oil separation chamber where the oil and grease separated from the wastewater, and the water is transferred to the anaerobic treatment chamber where the anaerobic bacteria digested the suspended solids and the sludge is also removed. Then the clear water is transferred to the hyacinth pond where the aerobic conditions takes place, and phytoplanktons and algal plant remove the dissolved organic content from the wastewater. The next flow diagram is the waste treatment process of large beverages or distillery industries where the various sources of food and beverages industry that are having a high amount of VOD transferred to the anaerobic and aerated lagoon, and then the effluent water is transferred to the polishing pond from where the suspended solids are separated from the water and the clear effluent transferred to the other water body.
So at the end of this module, let us summarize this module, that in this module we have learned about the various physical, chemical and biological treatment process used for the different industrial wastewater discharge. The screening bar, pH, aerated lagoons and other treatment technologies were also discussed here, and the treatment methods with steps utilized in different industries like paper and pulp industry, textile industry, beverages industry, tannery were shown and explained in the detailed form. Thank you so much.